Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Colin Derrig, and I am the Civic Engagement Specialist and Research Coordinator at Global Cleveland. Today, in this short presentation, I'm going to be walking you through the basics of Welcome Corps, the federal government's newest private-public partnership. So, Welcome Corps, the basics of how to start welcoming refugees to your community. Welcome Corps is a new public-private partnership refugee resettlement program. It is a part of the United States Refugee Admissions Program, or USRAP, and part of the wider Biden-Harris administration initiative to increase U.S. refugee resettlement capacity. Traditionally, rather than private sponsorship, refugee resettlement through USRAP was done through refugee resettlement organizations, local nonprofits who partnered with national nonprofits, partnered with the United States Department of State and United States Citizenship and Immigration to resettle refugees in communities with supports and with programming to walk them through exactly and being resettled by professional resettlement agencies. This has been standard U.S. policy for 40 years. Private partnership, on the other hand, allows for private groups of individuals rather than resettlement agencies to sponsor and resettle refugees. The Welcome Corps model has been based on the U4U program and the Special Parole Program for Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Haiti, which allows for parolees in the United States to be resettled. However, a parolee is different than a refugee. Refugees and parolees might be the same in practice, but in this case, refugee refers to people admitted officially under refugee admissions by the United States government and have formally been recognized as a refugee to the United States. Canada has been doing private sponsorship for decades, and the model is also partially based on that. This program will be implemented in two phases. Phase one is the matching phase, which will be private resettlement of refugees already in the USRAP system. So these are individuals who have already been recognized and accepted for resettlement by the U.S. government, but have not yet been resettled. This is a constant process. Phase two is the identification phase. In this phase, private sponsors may find refugees outside of the USRAP system and bring them into it. This part is not yet launched, and there is no formal application. That will be launching mid-2023, and there'll be more information from the U.S. Department of State and its partner organizations then. As a quick clarification, Welcome Corps is not replacing settlement through resettlement agencies. It is a parallel program that exists to expand U.S. refugee resettlement capacity. Next, we'll be talking about the partnering organizations and government departments who are building out this program. First is the U.S. Department of State, who runs the USRAP program and handles the admission of refugees into the United States directly. Second is the Department of Health and Human Services, who runs the Office of Refugee Resettlement, who handle follow-ups and who handle providing resources to refugees after their arrival, including funding for rent and other services that are needed when there is no other funding available for up to 90 days. Next is the Department of Homeland Security, which runs background checks on all refugees before they are admitted into the United States and verifies that they can be admitted. There's also a consortium of nonprofits who will implement the program day to day in partnership with the State Department and Office of Refugee Resettlement. This consortium is comprised of Church World Service, Welcome.US, the International Rescue Committee, the International Refugee Assistance Project, the Integrated Refugee and Immigrant Services, and Community Sponsorship Hub. These organizations are all experienced, immigrant-focused nonprofits who work on a national and international level with the United States government and other governments in the past. And many of these organizations are already in the resettlement process through partnerships with refugee resettlement organizations. Program objectives. The Biden-Harris administration's long-term goal is to restore refugee admissions capacity to 125,000 refugee admissions to the United States per year. This number has not been achieved since the 1990s, and the last year were over 100,000 people were admitted was 2016. And that was the first time that had happened in over 20 years. Overall, the United States Refugee Admissions Program, USCIS, and resettlement order capacity was severely hobbled during the previous administration. The 2023 Welcome Corps objective is to resettle 5,000 refugees across the United States. First group of Welcome Corps newcomers being from sub-Saharan Africa. To accomplish this goal, they want 10,000 private sponsors to step up. Sponsorship sign-up began on January 19th and will be continuously open. Please visit the Welcome Corps website to review. The first arrivals in this program are expected in April. More information about that will be pending. Next, we'll talk about how Welcome Corps actually operates. Welcome Corps operates through private sponsorship groups, also known as PSGs, as I call them for short. Private sponsorship groups have a minimum of 5 members. These members may be U.S. citizens or U.S. lawful permanent residents. They'll be matched with a family already accepted through USRAP as the matching phase currently goes. PSG members must all pass background checks to be accepted into the program. PSGs must all raise $2,275 per member of family being resettled. 60% of that funding must be raised before arrival. They must also design a welcome plan and have it approved by experts in the consortium of nonprofits to ensure that they are ready to resettle refugees. And they also must sign a commitment form. They will also work and have advice directly coming from the consortium of nonprofits and guidance. There will be trainings, public information sessions, and many more available. Please visit welcomecorps.org to learn more on that. Now I'm going to talk about the pre-arrival and arrival process for newcomer refugees who are being resettled with a private sponsorship group through the Welcome Corps program. They'll be matched with families based on 3 factors: the makeup of the private sponsorship group and the resources it can provide, the needs and makeup of the refugee family itself, and the demographics, resources, and other organizations present in the sponsoring community. Before arrival, PSGs must find housing for the family they are resettling. That includes making sure it is ready and furnished before arrival. When a family of newcomers is assigned a flight, info is shared with the private sponsorship group. The private sponsorship group also picks up the family from the airport and takes them to their initial housing upon arrival. Before this, after the match is done, information is shared with both the private sponsorship group and refugee newcomer family. The private sponsorship group will receive the family's name and ages, their home country, their first language, their English language level, their education levels, and their general work experience, as well as information on the country or area they were staying while fleeing from their home country. Refugee family will receive information on the PSG and its members, as well as information about the community that they will be resettled in. Post-arrival, there are many responsibilities for private sponsorship groups. The post-arrival support phase, like for refugee resettlement organizations, is 90 days. The goal is self-sufficiency for the refugee families as quickly as possible. Many of these responsibilities that PSGs must help with include transporting the newcomers to the store, to job interviews, to work if they have a job and are still looking for transit early on, the doctor, English classes, training, etc. They must also assist the resettled family in becoming self-sufficient through connecting, taking the English language classes, teaching people how to use public transit, helping people find jobs or job training, guiding them through the process of getting a driver's license, not doing it for them, but helping them fill out the paperwork and take testing and otherwise, or helping people learn to drive if that is also necessary, connecting people to childcare and helping them by guiding them through registering children for public school, connecting people to medical care and helping with paperwork when necessary, teaching people how to shop at American grocery store, and also teaching people general social customs, expectations, and social idiosyncrasies that might be present in American society, but not present in their home society. There is assistance available for sponsors. Sponsors are not alone in taking care of and supporting the sponsored family. The Office of Refugee Resettlement, part of the Department of Health and Human Services, can assist. Services of the Office of Refugee Resettlement. I'm going to start the slide up. Assistance for sponsors. Sponsors are not alone in taking care of and supporting their sponsored families. The Office of Refugee Resettlement, part of the Department of Health and Human Services, can and will assist and will also be running check-ins. Services of the Office of Refugee Resettlement include financial support for refugees, providing the initial monetary support that they receive from the government for their first 90 days, some medical support, behavioral and mental health support if required or needed, potentially case management services, as well as other support services. Sponsors may also be referred to for support or receive support from the National Nonprofit Consortium, organizations such as Welcome.US or IRIS, as mentioned in earlier slides. These organizations are here to make sure that resettlement is smooth and that both sides are able to operate. They are to ensure that the private sponsorship group is effectively resettling newcomer families and making sure that they integrate into communities quickly, efficiently, and achieve self-sufficiency. Next, I would like to discuss how to become a sponsor. The first step would be to visit welcomecorps.org. Step 2 would be to watch or attend an official information session, not like this one. This is just a simple introductory service performed by Global Cleveland. But watch or attend an official information session as available on the Welcome Corps website and linked below. Step 3 would be to organize a private sponsorship group of 5+ to begin the application process. Step 4, complete the necessary background checks for all members of the private sponsorship group. Step 5, have at least one member of the private sponsorship group complete training offered by the consortium of nonprofits operating the program. Step 6, attend an application support session. This is optional but encouraged as it will help the PSG fill out their application and ensure it is ready sooner rather than later. Step 7, complete and finalize your welcome plan. This will be a big part of your application support session in part 6 if you attend. This welcome plan will go through the steps of how you will welcome the refugee family, as well as different responsibilities of the members of the private sponsorship group in welcoming and supporting your newcomer family. Step 8 is signing the commitment form and certifying that everyone is ready to support. Step 9 is to begin fundraising. Each private sponsorship group needs $2,275 per person in the family being resettled to ensure that the basic expenses needed during the first 90 days can be covered, including housing, food, transportation. 60% of this must be raised before the matching process can begin and you are partnered with a family. Step 10, submit your application. It's advised to have everything prepared before starting and filling out the application so that it's a smooth and quick process. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this short presentation today. Please visit the following sites for official information from the U.S. Department of State and partner organizations and to learn more about the Welcome Corps and how you can get involved in welcoming refugees to your communities. Remember, we strengthen our city by welcoming the world. Thank you for your time.